Hi guys, it's Nancy, and I have the new GinaK polyglaze foiling sheets to try out. These came out about a month ago, I guess. They sold out pretty quickly. I was able to find these at the stamp show that I went to this weekend. In my craft room, mycraftroom.com. I will link them for you. I will also link GinaK and ThermoWeb. That's who manufactures them. So if you're interested in trying them out. So I know some of you guys emailed me and asked me to try them out. And really my response was, I have enough foiling products, so I didn't see the need to jump on this right away, so I didn't want to order them. But when I saw them at the show, I picked these 3 patterns up. And so these are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so they're A2 size sheets. It looks like you get 10 in there. This pattern is called Diamonds. This one is called Art Deco, and this one is some sentiments, Radiant Roses Words. Okay, now here is the appeal to these. I know a lot of you do not have a laser printer. You want to do foiling, you want it to be quick, you want it to be easy, you don't want to invest. In fact, T did a video on these, a very good video on them when they first came out. She was able to get her hands on them. She also, in case you didn't know, T designs a lot of things for our group in the Foiling Snobs Club. So you want to go check out the files for that. But T did a great video, and T's take was, if you don't have a laser printer, even if you don't have a Mink, you're working off of a laminator, she thought that they worked great. So I didn't really look at it that way. I looked at it as I have enough stuff. What's one more thing to add? But I didn't think about it the way T thought about it. So thank you, T, for putting that idea out there. If you are not someone who wants to invest in a ton of foiling things, maybe you only foil once in a while and you have a laminator, don't want to invest in a laser printer, and you kind of struggle a little bit with foiling because of the black spots. So the difference here is these are not printed with traditional toner. These are printed with basically like a clear ink. You can feel that it is very slightly raised. It almost looks like it's a gray, but that's just so you can see it on the paper. It's a tone-on-tone look. This is super smooth paper. It's very nice. It's not glossy or anything. So I wanted to try a couple things. Believe it or not, I do own quite a bit of Miss GinaK's fancy foils. I don't show them often because they're from back in my day when I first started out too. So I have this, I keep every scrap, as you can see here. Radiant Red, which is like star, glitter, dazzling orange, same thing, star, glitter, gold sequins, green glitter. Are you catching on to the theme of the ones that I like? Brilliant blue. I don't know what this one is. Covering up the name. Twinkling Pink. We'll just pull that one out. Sparkling Silver Stars. Silver Sequins. And I do own some GinaK foil mates. Okay. So, this is the Elegant Damasks, which comes with 2 different designs. These come in 10 sheets, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. Now, again, these are from back in the day when I first started, you guys. So, I don't know if these are current or not. You'll have to check. Like I said, I'll put the links for you guys if I can find them. And then this one is the Stamp and Foil clear stamps. And this was a really neat idea because you could purchase it with these foil mates so that you could stamp them and foil them. And you can see here's one I have here. So it's stamped and foiled. And then I have the die. So I have the whole set there. I'm sure that I have more. I know I have snowflakes and things like that, but this is what I could grab right away. So my biggest thing I wanted to show you guys was, let me pull this guy out, is traditionally when we foil, we have to have something that is laser printed, okay? So what laser printing does is it's a sticky toner. When it heats up, it will stick. Okay, come on. So let's pull one of these out. So this is laser printed, not inkjet printed. It will not work if you inkjet print it. So when you buy good quality foil art, we're going to cut this to 4 1/4. It's printed on good quality paper, but it's professionally printed with toner. So what happens is when the laser printer puts down this toner, it sits on top of the paper. When this heats up, either through your laminator or your Mink, then the foil will stick to it, okay? So we're going to compare a traditional toner printed image to one of these new polyglaze, see what the advantage is. The other thing that's different is, I know a lot of people don't have a Mink. I do love my Mink. I will be using a Mink, so I do have a little bit of an advantage there. Is a lot of laminators don't get hot enough. So if they don't get hot enough, your foil doesn't transfer very well. So you want to let your laminator, if you are using a laminator, you want to let your laminator heat up for at least 30 minutes. Not all laminators get hot enough, so you want to let it heat up at least 30 minutes. I'm going to grab the same color foil so that we don't have any debate on the heat transfer, because some foils transfer at a lower temperature, some transfer at a higher temperature. Is this wide enough? Okay, that is wide enough to fit that, but I do need to cut. So this was one of the reasons why I liked going to rolled foil, is because this foil comes in sheets, and sometimes I pull out more than one and we get a little bit of static, so just be careful of that. The other thing is, when I cut this, let me grab my scissors there. I don't really have enough for a full panel, but it looks like these polyglaze have a little bit of a border, so if you like that, then you will have enough foil left over. So I'm going to cut just a very small border around here. You don't want it to be exact because foil shrinks a little bit when it goes through. But see, now I have this leftover piece, and it's not enough to do a full card front, but it does look like, look, it'll perfectly fit that card front. In fact, we're going to use that piece because it's a little smaller. Okay, so one piece of foil will cover a regular foil mate and whatever these borders are on the polyglaze. Okay, so another trick that I use when I am doing my foiling is I like to dusty. And why do we dusty? Because traditionally, again, if there is dust on your toner sheet, when you go to put your foil on there, the black spots will poke through, okay? Because this is kind of a clear foil, you may not have black spots poke through, but you may have white spots poke through. So you still want to do dusty because dust is the enemy when it comes to foiling. So take a soft brush or Swiffer and just wipe that off and wipe the back of the foil off. Okay, now I know the GinaK ThermoWeb products come with a piece of parchment paper. You can certainly use that to protect your foil when it's going through the Mink machine. I'm going to use the Mink carrier sheet and feed that through. I do have my machine on setting 3, and I'm just going to slowly feed that through until it grabs, okay? And we're going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to dusty it. In fact, I was using embossing powder earlier today, and yeah, it is all over. So we're going to dusty, and I'm going to line this foil up. And you don't want any of that toner exposed. You want to make sure you are covering all of those diamonds, okay? The other trick you want to do is to make sure that it is fully cool before you reveal it. Okay. 3 might actually be a little too hot. I might have to go to 2. Okay. We're going to let this cool down. We're going to let them both come out before we reveal them. As with all of your foiling products, once you have opened them, put them back and store them, you want to keep them away from dust, pet hair, embossing powder, glitter, all of the fun things we love to play with to keep them protected, okay? Same thing with this guy here. I'm going to put him back, and the foil as well. So this is a good option if you don't have a laser printer, you're not printing your own designs, you want it quick and simple. This is where we look into these pre-printed toner sheets or these polyglaze options. I also want to do some ink blending on here and see how that looks. So we're going to move this stuff aside and let's reveal. So this is the traditional foil mate that's toner printed. And you can see that that did foil beautifully. And you want to save these. You can use these on toner sheets. But you can see that that did perfectly foil. I do not have any mist spots or black spots that I can see. Looks very nice. So we're going to save that one. So if I hadn't had enough heat, which sometimes happens with a laminator, or if I had dust in there, you would see black spots. And I think that's what a lot of people complain about. It's not necessarily your foil art. A lot of times it's the heat coming out of your machine. You don't have enough heat and you don't have enough pressure. That's why I do recommend the Mink. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but the Mink is specially designed for foiling by giving you more heat and more pressure. Okay, here is the polyglaze sheet. Again, another clean transfer. So I can reuse this on a toner sheet. It even has the border on there. Okay. And this foiled okay. No mist spots that I can see. And even if it were mist, it would just look like little white spots. It wouldn't be black spots. You wouldn't notice it anyway. So you get all that foil, you get all that glitter, okay? So now let's talk about, can we ink blend on here? I like to do ink blending on my projects. Let's see how this holds up. I'm going to just grab some ink here and a blending brush. Now, this paper is a little more matte than this paper. I think because of the way that this might be printed, they may not be able to do it on such a glossy paper. But you can see it's taking the ink blending just fine. I don't see the foil being affected. I normally foil first, then ink blend because you can wipe your foil down. I'm going to do this whole panel. You can wipe the foil and it will you will not lose the glossiness of the foil. Now, that also depends on your ink. I do recommend dye inks. You got to be careful with pigment inks because sometimes pigment inks do sit on top of there. All right, it looked like some of the foil was coming up, but I think it's just my lighting. It's fine. But this is definitely a more matte paper, not a shiny, glossy paper like we're used to with foiling. So if you don't like that shiny, glossy paper, you want more of a matte paper, this is printed on more of a matte paper. And you can, as you can see here, ink blend over it. Let me just finish this panel. And then you're just going to take a soft cloth and just wipe your foil, and that ink will come right off of your foil, but your panel still looks pretty good. All right, it doesn't look like I scratched any of the foil off doing that. So that is a good test that you can ink blend with this paper and your foil is not touched. Okay, that's good. Let me show you what the ink blending looks like on this paper. Now, this paper is a little bit smoother. You can immediately see that that ink likes that. It glides on. Okay, so both of them take ink blending. Fine. All right, so ink blending looks good on both of those. Oh, it's a little more heavy-handed on this side. All right, so we're going to give those just a second to soak in that ink. Let's do some sentiments here. Let's see if we can throw together a quick card. And that's the benefit of these, because everything's pre-made. You don't have to go to your computer and cut any sentiments out. Or print any sentiments out, is what I meant to say. Print them. These are already printed. So these are the Radiant Roses. So 10 sheets, again, A2 size. And the sentiments are thankful for you, a birthday wish for you. So grateful, thankful for you, a birthday. Okay, so it looks like the same sentiment each time. Okay, so that's pretty good. They're pretty generic, useful sentiments. I don't think you're going to be die cutting these out. It looks like you should probably just cut them in a strip. Maybe banner cut them. And this is where your extra pieces of foil that are too small can come in handy. Thought I had GinaK circle dies. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. Thought I did though. That's okay. I must have imagined it. All right, we're just going to straight cut these. I'm just going to use this piece of foil. So I would, let me turn my Mink back on. Before, did I wipe this? Before you run your sentiment through the machine, I would cut it the size that you want. Because otherwise you have to foil this whole sheet, right? And you may not want those colors that way, so that's up to you. But it does look like they're pretty close together, so you're going to have to figure out where to slice to get the best results here. So I'm just going to use down here and see if I can line up. Yeah, see, that's going to cut that off. So I got to be very careful. Just be careful cutting. If I cut all the way across, I'm going to cut into that one. So I'm going to cut to the top here and then stop. And then I can cut like this. Probably better to fussy cut is my guess. Okay, so I got that one cut out. Let me cut the bottom to make it more precise. That looks crooked for some reason. Let's look at that again. Let's look at it again. Sometimes things are not straight. Okay, that looks a little better. So there's one of them. We're going to see how they foil. I do like the font. The font is very pretty. And again, I do like that they're kind of generic everyday sentiments. Okay, we're going to cut this one up here. Now see this one? Nope, can't cut all the way across. So you could probably fussy cut them. I don't like to fussy cut. I did not look online, you guys, so I don't know how much these are online. Maybe there's a matching die. I'm not sure. Like I said, I just bought them at the show and said, okay, let me try these out. I know they've been out. I know everybody's been asking about them. But it is an alternative if, again, you want something quick and easy. You can pre-foil all of these and just have them ready and then glue them down when you're ready. You can use any toner foil you have. Don't use hot foil. Has to be toner foil. You do not run this through you know, any kind of hot foiling machine. So you do not run this through a glimmer or foil press or any of those. This is designed as a toner foil project. So toner foil is either laser printed, or in this case clear printed. I'm going to call it clear ink because that's pretty much what it's like. Polyglaze printed. That's what I guess I should call it by its proper name. Polyglaze printed process, or toner printed process. And you use a mink or a laminator. Now, I will also tell you, not all laminators work, okay? There are a handful of laminators that work really well, pretty close to a mink, you know, that you can get for 25, 30 bucks on Amazon. But I still recommend, if you can get a mink, use a mink. All right, so we're going to foil these. And the same thing I did before, I am still going to dusty. It's just a good habit to get into. And then I'm going to cover the label with the foil. Make sure none of that polyglaze is exposed. Put that in there. And we're going to do the same thing with this guy. My foil might not be big enough for this one. Oh yeah. Well, there we go. If we put it at an angle, nothing is exposed there. Oh yeah, we can make that work. There we go. Sometimes you just got to be creative. Okay, and I'm going to run these through my ink. I know it's off camera. You guys can't see it. I'll bring it in here. And I like to hold the carrier sheet in the front and make sure it feeds through okay, and that it comes out the back. Now, if you have issues with your mink eating your carrier folders, if you have a lot of wrinkles in your carrier folders, make sure you're holding it and feeding it through. If your carrier sheet gets eaten, don't try to straighten it and save it. Throw it away. It's just not worth it. And if you want to know more about foiling, you can join my Facebook group, which is called the Foiling Snobs Club. We have a lot of fun. We do all kinds of things foiling. Don't let the name fool you. Anything you do, either toner foiling or hot foiling, I will help you through the process. Okay, now I'm going to turn these in the cards since we're already here. We might as well finish it. Okay, and I'm going to cut this one down. I'm going to cut it right to the border there. You can use it with or without the border, but I'm going to cut it down a little bit. And same with this one. Just so there's a little bit of white showing through. Alright, so this one's cut down to 5 1/4 by 4. Alright, and then we're just going to use some adhesive and glue these down. So I feel like this one should be a landscape design. Horizontal. You can use glue, you can use your glue tape, whatever you got. We're going to have a little bit of a white border here. I kind of like that golden yellow and pink glitter. And then this one. Again, a little bit of a white border. And now we're going to look at our sentiments. Okay, so sentiments. are very, very fine, but they are foiled. They are foiled. Okay. Same thing with this one. So that fine print usually concerns me when we're doing a toner print, but these look okay. So obviously it worked. I don't think that GinaK would endorse it and put her stamp of approval on it if it didn't work. So that looks pretty good. I'm just going to pop that in the corner. Nothing too super fancy here, but we get the basics of foiling down, and we're going to wow somebody. With a simple foiled card. Okay. So I'm going to go with T on her review and echo her sentiments, which were, you know, not everybody has the room or the budget for a laser printer and a Mink. So these are a very good option if you are looking to do something inexpensively, if you are looking to do something quickly. They're a great option. I like to print my own, foil my own, but this is just another option. So if you're somebody who's just starting out with foiling, or you've been doing foiling and you just want some quick and easy designs, or you don't want to invest in a laser printer and a Mink, you may want to try these out. So they do work. I would say, yes, they're perfectly fine. You can see how the background looks. You can see how the sentiment looks. I don't know that a selling point to me would be you don't get any black spots, because I think if you do foiling correct, you don't get any black spots anyway. But I know there's a lot of people that want to do foiling, don't understand the depth of it, obviously, like I do, because I foil everything. So I think if you are a beginner and you have like an Amazon Basics laminator, they're a very inexpensive laminator, swing line laminator, you can get them on Amazon. They're like $25-30, and you want to start out, then it's definitely worth looking into these. I paid $6.99 for each of these, and you get 10 sheets. They are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. There are quite a few different designs out there, or you can also look into the GinaK fancy foils and foil mates to go with that. Again, any toner foils you have, but if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of space and you're just starting out foil, you do have quite a few options out there. I know I am a foiling snob because I'm always like, well, I can buy a 25-foot roll foil, but I did not look at it the way that T looked at it, so I want to thank T for opening my eyes to looking at it that way, and maybe knocking me down off my foiling snob pedestal for a second to say, hey, Nance, remember when you first started out, you didn't have all that stuff. So she's 100% correct. So definitely, if you want to check these out, I'll put the links down below where you can get them. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, post them down below. I'll help you out. Let me know what you think. Is this something you've been curious about, or is it something you tried out, or are you somebody who prints your own foiling designs at home? Let me know. And again, if you join our group, the Foiling Snobs Club, we have free files if you do have a laser printer that you can print your own. They're toner printed. They're not going to be polyglaze. But if you want to be that person, we do have some free designs. Join our group, Foiling Snobs Club, at Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up before you leave. And I am looking for a few more subscribers, so if you could click the little butterfly and subscribe and get notifications when I post new videos, I would really appreciate it. And using the links down below, some of them are affiliate links, so I get a little bit of a commission for you clicking the link. Thanks for watching. Keep on foiling. Bye, guys.